Welcome back to the Better Living Interest channel. I've got an absolute treasure today, Miss Daria Jones, Program Manager for Cory Hatchery Business Incubator at Syracuse University and the powerhouse behind the Creators Lounge. She's been recognized by Forbes 30 under 30 and 40 under 40. We're all in for one big ride. I'm so appreciative. I'm so thankful for her to join us. We're going to be talking to Indaria, and we're going to be peeling back the curtain on how she helps students and alumni founders launch, grow, and scale their startups, plus her work in marketing, consulting, and creative co-working. So let's dive right into it. Thank you, Miss Daria Jones, for joining the show. Appreciate you, Queen.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here and to just speak and talk about everything that you guys got going on and all your viewers want to hear.
For sure. I mean, everybody is very much so inspired. There's a lot of synergy right now happening. This is the economic revolution, and we're watching it live online, happening in real time. So a lot of people are trying to pivot and figure out what are the ways in which they can help their businesses. My channel tends to focus in on real estate. However, we
Mm.
understand that all businesses are connected to real estate. Everyone needs a place
Yep.
to either live and or work and conduct business. So
Thank
work that you're doing is very pivotal and it all aligns. So I'm just grateful to have you here.
Yes, I'm so excited. I think that's amazing. And it's a great mindset for people to be in. Like, what's next and what's that opportunity when you think about an economic revolution right now? And how don't you get left behind?
Amen, for sure. So, Daria, can you please talk to us about your journey? You were from a SU grad in marketing and management to launching the Creators Lounge and now leading the entrepreneurship incubator program. How did you get this entrepreneurial spark in you?
Yeah, I would say like not everyone have it to be an entrepreneur. I feel like it even takes a special sort of qualities or secret sauce in people to be an entrepreneur, just like in real estate development. You got to have grit, resilience, all of these other things because life and I think taking risks is not always guaranteed because it's a risk. So I feel like I've always been an entrepreneur and I've always been entrepreneurial minded. I feel like as a kid, everyone starts with like the basics of like the lemonade or reselling your old clothes or whatever you got around the house to make some money. So, but after college, I went to work at an entertainment company and I managed the marketing, the business side of celebrity talents and marketing their brand. So, like DJ Khaled, his label, We the Best, Erica Mena, and a few other love and hip hop guests. So, but Mimi Boss, she had a cleaning company that she wanted to turn into a full blown interior design company and pivot and also scale doing that. So that was a project that I was working on doing like on the marketing and business development side. But at the same time, I needed to make money because I was doing this in New York City, right in Times Square. So on the weekends, I would come back home and sell a clothing line that had a lot of different powerful messaging on it. And this was things that I would read on my way and back and forth, maybe on the train to work about the history of Black people in America. And I thought it was interesting. So I would put different things on a t shirt and that began to sell like crazy. And it's built on community. And people were like, I know what you're talking about, or I want to meet and talk more. So from those meetings, it started with like 3 people and it morphs to over 1,000 people. I started to have, instead of having workshops when I came back home with my accountant or an attorney, anything for my clothing line business, I would just have it open for everyone who wanted to meet with me and figure out how I was selling so fast. And so then it came to a time where we needed space And so I got tired of renting out cafes. I got tired of asking people for space. And I was like, I'm going to get my own space. I'm going to get my own building. And that's exactly what I did. I had like I said, over 1,000 members before I even had my key. So I already had proof of concept. And I had the Creators Lounge for years. It grew to over 6,000 members. We ended up leasing a space, and that was a really dope opportunity that I was able to negotiate. So don't be afraid to negotiate. Never, ever, ever be afraid to negotiate. Know what your secret sauce is and come in hot. Like I got the first 3 years of my rent free because I knew what I brought to the table. My space was also vacant about like 4 years before me. And then I negotiated my interest and my rent after that. But yeah, we grew for a while, obviously, because we didn't have so much overhead from those negotiations. And I purchased a building right kitty corner to it, which is about 10,000 square foot, a 3-floor building from 1,600 square foot and over 6,000 members. So yeah, in doing that, I also was recruited to come to SU to help out with their business ecosystem. I've also worked in business and economic development and on the government side. So I've managed and worked on some economic development studies and with a lot of large developments in our city. And yeah, I would say that I've always been entrepreneurial minded. And I think along the way, you just have to think about what problem you're solving and just identify problems and solve them. I never really wanted to open up an incubator. That wasn't my goal, but I was just solving a problem at that time. We needed space. I ended up becoming the first Black owned incubator in Syracuse. And that time, that was only the third ever. We didn't have space. A lot of people weren't meeting for coffee shops at the time that they were as they do now. And we got tired of just going, getting settled and asking like, "Hey, are you gonna buy something?" "Yes, we're gonna buy something, but just give us a minute." Or a matter of fact, don't even take our dollars. Like we can open our own space. So that's just sort of what I did. And along the way, even with my first clothing line, I was working in New York City, started on an internship and I needed money. So that was the solution to the problem that I had at the time.
That was insightful. I mean, so many thoughts are coming to my head. I'm thinking of
Okay.
traveling, first of all, being a native New Yorker myself and now living upstate New York. Like you talking about, you would come home back and forth and you had a business. Like that could be taxing to get the
Yeah.
from down there. Even if you are shopping in downtown, midtown Manhattan to the fabric district to bring stuff up, that's a lot of time. It's a different world in regards to thinking and approach too.
And they're
And then
mhm.
I'm also thinking about something that you're saying in regards to, first of all, huge kudos to you to be the first Black woman to open up a business incubator space. That's big. You wasn't thinking selfish. You were thinking
Yeah.
there's a ends and means from my business, and at the same time, you were thinking about others. So that's huge. And to negotiate a deal, you're not a licensed agent, are you?
No.
But you still negotiated that deal.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to knowing what you bring to the table, who you are, and then also being able to identify what that other person also needs and coming to some middle ground and standing on it. And that's how I approach business and pretty much everything. Yeah, it's been a wild ride. Coming back from New York to here was a lot. And I didn't just do it on the weekends. I did it almost every day. And I was a mom. My daughter was young at the time. So she was enrolled in school here and I just needed peace of mind. But that's a whole nother story. Really chasing your dreams. I think that goes back to the characteristics of an entrepreneur and someone who's willing to just get it or see a dream, see something that your friends, your family don't see, that you've only been chosen or gifted to see, and that you absolutely have to do regardless of who believe it or not because it's not meant for other people to see, right? And that's entrepreneurship. That's even real estate sometimes, even though you do want to rely on your numbers, your comps, all of those different things. But being a first generation real estate developer for a lot of people that look like us, sometimes that's risky too and hard to explain. But yeah, I would say those qualities is very similar to an entrepreneur.
Huge. And I'm also thinking of the story in which you talked about you would go to coffee shops and people would say, "Are you patronizing our place? If not, you had to leave."
Yeah.
I think of the story of there was a black gentleman that went to a large coffee shop chain here in the US, and they basically harassed the individual and racially profiled him, and that created a big lawsuit. But you're the type that
Wow.
you said, instead of this lawsuit, I'm just gonna build my own space.
Yeah, it was the problem at the time. And I think as entrepreneurs, we have to, and especially with this economic opportunity you mentioned, we have to constantly think about problem solving. I think it's good to have ideas and to want to do something, but if we're solving problems and we're focused on that, then that'll help us when it comes to scaling our business and also making it sustainable. So I think real estate is a great industry because it's very needed, right? It solves a problem and that helps with scalability and sustainability.
Yep, for sure. And
Mhm.
speaking of, you were believing in yourself so much, you believed in this vision, you created this space, you were able to negotiate the deal. Huge shout outs to you on that. And in Syracuse University, the biggest economic driver for the city of Syracuse, and it was like, hey, we want you to lead our program for business incubation. How did that come about? What was that feeling like?
Yeah, I mean, that was amazing. I did have to apply for it and stuff like that. But at the time, I had just closed my incubator to focus on the construction with the new building. And I decided to close our doors because it was a lot to manage that and a renovation. And so after I was closed for a bit, I learned that Syracuse was looking for someone to lead their entrepreneurship incubator. And I was just like, oh, at first, like, it's no way I would go back to punch the clock and things like that. I think I was on my own for like 4 or 5 years. I had my business at for 8 years at that time. But then after a while, I was like, why not? And I think it was a really good decision because I love working with the students and alumni here. We also have a community component incubator as well. And just seeing different ideas every day, people start, grow, scale, have the access and the different opportunities available to them to do so. It's really refreshing. And I do love what I do. So we help students chase their dreams, and it doesn't always have to end. And I tell this to everyone, entrepreneurship is a journey. There's no starting point. You don't have to be ready to start, or you don't have to have a product. You don't have to have a business. You just have to have an idea and move on it and act on it, whether that's once a day, once a quarter, but just be moving. It's a journey. It's not an end result. Some people will start something that would leverage them into a career, or some people will start something that they just enjoy and want to do. It doesn't always have to end in a business or a brick and mortar. It's a journey. And so that's what I love about the work that I do and the work here is just people trying new things. I'm all for that.
Amazing. That's a huge blessing to give back, right?
Mhm.
Amen. So you speaking about the work that you're currently doing, because I think that people, to your point, you alluded to it, having a job is not a bad thing, especially if you're an entrepreneur, because you can take those funds, right? Your job can be your
Yep.
biggest investor. You take those
Mhm.
funds and you're allocating a budget to put into your business to help your business grow and manifest. Speaking
Yeah.
the work that you're doing currently with helping other businesses at the Cory Hatchery Business Incubator at Syracuse University, the Innovation Center for Aspiring Founders, what does your day look like being the manager there?
My day to day, I probably speak with folks either in person or on Zoom from the time I walk in to the time I leave, just really helping students start and alumni or everyday folks start, grow, and scale their ideas. A lot of connecting the dots, which is something I'm really great at, finding other mentors, if it's not me, or other resources, and just being that plug for folks. And then forecasting programs, opportunities that I know people are interested in making them available because a lot of people reach out to me for different things, whether that's funding, conferences, and things like that. I would say that's my day to day when it comes to my job, but I'm also an entrepreneur. So for my marketing, I do still serve as a marketing consultant for a lot of organizations and large companies, or even small businesses and startups. And I take one project per quarter. And that's just how where I've gotten today is I'll take one per quarter at a certain rate. So I'm always available for that. But I'm not really doing those day to day. It's like a project per quarter. Help organizations and businesses strategize on their marketing and the business strategy so that they can make money consistently and forecast. A lot of entrepreneurs, people in real estate, people in construction, they're in that day to day hustle. They might be in there checking on their contractors or checking on their subs, checking out their HVAC. Like when I have a project, I don't do real estate all the time, but I know no one loves to see me on site because I'm all of in everything. Don't ever tell me something is done that's not done or almost done because then I'm gonna come and I'm gonna be like, what is done? What is the definition of done? But yeah, I would say a lot of folks in those areas are like in the day to day where they can really forecast or think of growth or long term or strategizing their next partnership. And then really not supposed to, or they don't really have to when you have like a consultant like me who can forecast some of these opportunities for them. So that's another day to day, quarter to quarter in my life. And every now and then, if it makes sense, CENTS, I'll do a real estate project. But all the time, like I'm not actively looking on the market and stuff. It's just like when it makes sense to me, I'll do one. But yeah, I would say that's the day in the day for me.
You're a busy woman, for sure. Closing deals, got projects. Can you walk
Mhm.
us through a recent initiative or event you orchestrated for students or alumni?
Yeah, so on campus, we have three major event competitions, which is our orange tank. We give out $50,000 for their ideas, students and alum. We have our Hughes 50, where we highlight the 50 fastest growing companies. But it starts with a gala where they're awarded. A lot of the 50 fastest growing companies fly in from all over the world. And then the next day is a summit where they speak directly to the students on different panels. And we also have a $5,000 pitch competition involved in that. And then in the spring, there's a Panache business plan competition where it's up to $50,000 also. So I think those are our biggest three here at the university. And then in the community with my own endeavors, I founded a creator summit where we highlight a lot of creators and entrepreneurs from all over that have roots in Syracuse and they come back, try to lift up the next generation of folks. There was someone who stood on stage and was like, I'm a HR recruiter at Vogue. Like, what's up? And so I think having those opportunities available for not only students, but people in the community and other communities, especially in upstate New York, is great. So I love doing events like that.
Have you seen it help and support the entrepreneurial ecosystem with mentorship as well? You mentioned job opportunities. Is there mentorship as well? You mentioned financial.
Yeah, we do all of that and business mentoring one on one, preparing for pitch competitions, funding opportunities, and a lot of mentor matching and plugging. And social equity is just as important. I said this in another interview. Social equity is just as important as economic equity. A lot of people think capital and they think money and things like that, but social capital is just as important. And if not more, I love that a lot of my work also focuses on it.
And are there any success stories that you can give us that you have from, any of your positions, your jobs, or seeing other business owners come into play and needing your help?
Just last semester, I worked with a student that came in. She just had like a broad, she knew she wanted to do something, but not really what. And then a few weeks after our initial conversation, she came in. She was like, I think I have an idea. And at that time, I saw like a funding opportunity, like a starter one. And I was like, well, try this. Helped her write out something. She went, she won $500. And then by the end of the year, she had won $97,000. And that was just for her idea. She didn't have a prototype or anything like that. It was just from her stepping out and starting that journey of finding a problem, solving it, pitching it. And I feel like a lot of people get in their heads a lot when it comes to starting something. But what I found and what most people find is that when you put yourself out there, other people will align themselves with you, like minded people. And people love to see other people trying for themselves. Don't wait until an opportunity is handed to you. Try, like, try as if you got $1,000,000 right now. Like, try. And then you would be surprised at how many people are willing to help you even with nothing, just from seeing you like have those characteristics at going to get it. And that's the same thing that helped me secure the deal that I had when I went to lease a space. I didn't know anything about leasing a space, but I knew I was gonna try, and I knew what I had in my vision, and it works. Like, what do you have to lose? So, I would say that's one story, but there are countless others, and I'm really excited and happy for all the people that I've worked with and helped. Yeah.
For sure the students before they graduate, they like, yo, make sure she has a ticket for my graduation.
Yeah. Yeah. I know we do like a founder's graduation, like a little cake celebration the week before so that I can meet their parents. Because, yeah, like after graduation, then life happens. So, and a lot of parents are like, oh, you need a job now. And so I try to speak with them ahead of time. They'll be like, they really got something, just give them a minute. It's gonna take a minute because we all need that village and that support, and like I was saying before, whether they're students or not, like, for an everyday person, not everyone is gonna get it, and so some things that's for us is just for us, and so you just have to have that mentality and mental strength to be like, I'm gonna go get it regardless of what people say or think. A lot of times that is our own family or our own friends, people we knew forever. But all of us have different callings and everybody can't come. That's what I say all the time. Everybody can't come. You can't bring everybody else with. And so even in real estate too, it applies.
100%. I mean, there's only but so many bedrooms apartment, right? And
Yeah.
there's only so many units, so I can't fit everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll sometimes lose money too. Renting to family and things. Sometimes that's really it works out, but a lot of times in business and it just does not.
Could you talk about I think oftentimes we romanticize and we search for the glamorization of entrepreneurship, business. Can you talk about the hardships within business
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
difficulties that takes to really have a business and create one?
Yeah, I think when I talk about entrepreneurship, the journey of it, a part of that is failure. I embrace failure, and I think a lot of people who are afraid to start are already thinking about what they can't do and how they're going to fail beforehand. But you can't think of that because when you fail, that's another opportunity to learn and get better and succeed. And that's why also entrepreneurship isn't for everyone. And I think in this day and age with like social media and TikTok and creators and influencers, like they make it seem like entrepreneurship is so sexy, but it's not. People are literally using their lives, using all their time, going in between jobs, trying to make their dreams alive and do things that they want to do, especially if they have another job. So I think that's where alignment comes into play. It's like all of the jobs I've worked at was always in alignment with what I love and like to do. So it didn't feel too much as a sacrifice, but sacrifices happen. Entrepreneurship is far from sexy. It's very, very hard. I just got off the flight from InvestBest and one of my contractors sent me a video of my roof caved in. And I was like, "What?" And I can still smile about this because I know it's a part of the journey, right? And I learned so much even just from that. Like, oh man, yeah, like we just got to move. I was trying to get this done before winter came, but there's a lesson in everything. And what good is it going to do if I sit here crying, like, oh my God, the worst of the worst happened. At the same time, I was flying into we had a storm here at that time. This was like 2 weeks ago. But I was like, the alert I got on my phone said the storm was starting at 4 and I was landing at 4. I was in the air at the time. And I was thinking more about like my safety. I wasn't thinking about the roof. But when I landed, I was like, oh my God, welcome back. And so those things happen too. I've worked and I've had enough businesses that failed. I've tried a bunch of things. I've tried all the time. People only see what they see on LinkedIn. They only see the awards or the articles. They don't see the late nights. People only saw me working when I worked in New York City with the celebrities. No one ever saw me driving back and forth every day to just tuck in my daughter at night. People only see now the relationships that I have, but they didn't see where that came from. And I think a lot of that too goes hand in hand with just like one, your faith, but then like how bad do you want it? So shit is gonna happen. It's gonna happen, especially if you're in real estate. Like you don't know until you knock down the walls, like really what you're looking at. Not everything, every deal you make is like a full gut, or you don't know until someone move in and you turn on that water, like, oh shit, it's coming through. Sorry to cuss.
Are you good?
But you're like, it's coming through, it's coming through the basement,
Yeah.
different things
Literally
like
it's
that.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Or you waive that inspection, and then you're like, yeah, but those are lessons learned that you just need to take on the chin so that you know for next time. But it's also the journey. So you know next time when you go into that deal or the negotiation, who you're gonna have with you, what you're looking at. And yeah, that's why I'll say like the failures, like people in real estate too. And that's why I always start to be like, I make it a point, I'll do it when I want to. Some people are full time, oh, entrepreneur or real estate, and it's so sexy and things like that. No, I'm not chasing no height but these numbers. I want equity. I have my own formula. But there are folks in social media who are, oh, I'm in the real estate and this is a grind every day, but that's not always the case. And it's okay if it's not because the market is crazy. So, yeah, that's my little spill.
No, that's true. Any client that I work with, because I'm also a licensed agent as well, I do more commercial
Like,
with inspections. We're going through it. If I see something that looks a little off with the foundation or the building structure, we need to get a licensed architect and a structural engineer to just triple check the work. And I want to see the report. So, and the late nights are real. Doing business, working a job, managing multiple jobs, doing side careers or side hustles as well, just to keep that income afloat too. Then reinvest in your business. I mean, it could be taxing. And I think that that's why I'm appreciative and thankful that you spoke to that, because online, you're just going to see the glitter and the glam of things. And it's like, yeah,
yeah,
it has that reward. However, to get to that point, it's going to require a lot of sleepless nights and some sacrifice. You make mention of your daughter having to make sure you check in on her twice your time with your own family. And
yeah.
that's heavy.
I think, yeah, we live in an instant world where a lot of people expect that. But then I think that's what makes it fun. And that's what makes folks like us who are willing to do what we need to do stand out when it comes time. Not everybody's going to make it to the other side. And that's fine. But I think, like you said, in real estate and entrepreneurship, it's not sexy. It does come with challenges. And especially if you are first gen, which a lot of us are creating a pathway because we didn't have it, or no one in our family knew real estate. No one woke up with a building. No one woke up with S&P 500. Not a lot of people woke up with this. So a lot of people that I talk to or I meet, they're just trying to hustle their way out of things that never have been done before and doing it for themselves and their families. And with that, it's going to take some failure, and that's fine. That's all a part of the process. And sometimes we might not even get to enjoy what we're doing, right? But it's for our children would know, like, okay, if I want to start a business right now, their ceiling is our floor. So where they start or where they get to reach is going to be where our floor is, where our feet had landed. So it's fine. We might fail, but our children will not, or our children will know because of what we went through. So,
Generational wealth right there. That's what that's about.
yeah,
And how do you balance out you helping out students, you're helping out alum reach their
yeah.
dreams and goals, students who are just arriving in college, eyes wide open, trying to figure themselves out. Their bodies are still changing, your minds are still forming. Your frontal lobe isn't fully developed until you're about 25 years old. They're also at the same time pursuing a business. And then you have people that may have not went to college and
Yeah.
yet are still trying to start up a business to help build generational wealth for their families and turning something that is a passion into a full throttle business. How do you balance the human side of the work with the story, the presentation, and also the performer metric balancing of making sure that the numbers and the return on investment is happening? It's profitable for a business.
I think the biggest thing and what I talk about the most is identifying what problem you solve. It's great to have a grand idea, but that's not enough. I don't want to hear about the ideas. I want to hear about what problem you solve. Because if you solve a big enough problem for someone, that person, you're creating absolute need for your product, service, your property. And what that does is create sustainable revenue. That's your paycheck. People are going to keep coming back because it's not just an idea, it's something they actually need. And then there comes scalability after a while. Well, how can I increase it? And like in real estate and all across New York, especially in underdeveloped communities, there is a lack of like affordable housing or even quality housing at an affordable price. And there are people who are decent people, make a decent living wage that just want a good apartment, right? And or a good landlord and don't want to get screwed over, don't want to worry. That's a problem. So how can you pitch your situation, your rental or your commercial development as a need to those people? And that's what's going to keep people like, oh my God, I want to do Paul have any apartments? People ask me all the time, and I gotta say no. Like, I don't always hold, but I always say no. But people always look to me because they know I've done real estate and they know I'm a good person. The market is not really good. There are some shady landlords out here sometimes. And so, what I try to do with students is try to help them identify a problem, take their idea, and I'm like, okay, well, identify the problems and how big is the problem. So where if your idea or your product, your service, your building didn't exist, how challenging would it be for them? And that's the same for construction too. The market is there's a lot of people that do construction, but how do you stand out? Are you just another HVAC person? Oh wow. So when people look for someone, that's just like lotto. But what problem do you solve with your HVAC services? What problem do your customers have, whether that's a regular homeowner, business, commercial, or government contracting? What problems do they always have, whether that's within their units or with other contractors? And how are you solving that problem? What makes someone think like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna absolutely need your HVAC services because I don't wanna go through X, Y, and Z again, and I know you can handle it." That's what creates sustainability and scalability within a business, and that's how I work with a lot of students here. If I was consulting for some construction or real estate developers, that's what I would sorta go back to.
Glad that you mentioned that because I have a follow-up question for you.
Oh,
Could
okay.
could you speak a lot in the sense of what problems are you solving? So now my question for you is, what solutions are you providing for someone who comes to you for consultation services?
Yeah. So, first of all, a lot of large organizations, right now, I'll go to the problem just because it's natural. A lot of large organizations, especially after COVID, have had a hard time hiring folks and finding folks that could do the job. Not all of them necessarily need a full-blown employee. They have to pay to train that person, they have to pay for workers' comp and insurance for a full-time employee. Whereas I can come in and provide marketing strategy for a whole year, give them a blueprint month by month based on data and also the customers or the people that they're trying to reach. And then they can use their marketing team to execute my plan and my strategy without having to hire a full blown employee to do what I can do in 1 quarter. So there's a problem, and then I'm the solution there. And it's the same for small business owners. Like if you're a baker, you're not really expected to know about business strategy or marketing, so you can focus on that, and then I can come in and forecast for your business on areas where you can scale, areas where you want to maybe start, and also do some marketing strategy. I could provide execution. I used to do a lot of the execution work too for small business owners, and I could provide that. But it's helpful for them to have a plan instead of hiring someone on full blown or just keep going to workshops, seminars. trying to find mentors that are also busy, trying to do it themselves, trying to learn this. All of that takes away from their business. If I'm a HVAC person, I want to just go do what I want to do. But yeah, I want my LLC because I want my own business line of credit. I might need my own tools so that I can start picking up my own jobs and subbing out eventually. But I'm gonna need someone that is gonna be able to look at maybe some data and see, okay, here's the next 5 big projects in your area. These are the contacts, these are the procurement officers, and here's how you can line up your Instagram, your website, and your marketing to not only attract those clients, but to also look presentable. You can also do the job and show your expertise. So again, I would say those are the ways that I would help a small business or a large organization.
The capability statement meets capability in action. Love that.
Thank you.
All right. And something that you also alluded to earlier in the interview, you talked about economic development and how you used to work in government, which I think is really cool that it's full circle for you because it's
Yeah.
public-private partnership on all levels. Um, I've researched and I saw that you have pushed revitalization efforts for SIDA, SEDCO,
Mhm.
REDC. What kind of impact are you helping drive in Syracuse economy with those projects and beyond?
Yeah, so I did a lot of work with our local government in economic and business development. And SIDA stands for Syracuse Industrial Development Agency. There's an IDA in every city. It's basically funding and tax incentives for real estate development projects that are over 1 million. There are a lot now because costs have gone up. So a lot of people qualify for that. So if you're listening and you're doing a project that's over 1 million, look into your local IDA. And then for SECO was a city financing product to help fund some real estate developments and stuff like that. So yeah, I saw a lot of data for our city, corridor data citywide, and also worked with a lot of different developers on state grants, federal grants, and city grants to help them with their development projects. It's been a while, but it is interesting. And again, real estate is just something that I'm interested in. It's something that we know we need to do. Most of us, that's like another stream of revenue, but it was just a solution to things that I knew. I knew I could ride down a street and I could see how it would look in 5 years based on the work that I would do and the projects that I knew was coming. And so that just was a no-brainer to me. But I think people should take advantage of their local government opportunities no matter where you are. Reach out, look at some of their studies. That's how that investment is going to happen. If you're opening a business or like even you, if you have a client, a real estate client that's looking to do like commercial, if you look at like some of your corridor studies, you can look at, they have like surplus and leakage and foot traffic. It's interesting. It's like a little bit geeky, but it helps. It does tie in and align.
Yeah, it's full circle. Oftentimes, you're going to be helping these small business owners, and the questions that I always hear from them, or problems that I always hear from them, is like, "Hey, I scaled up. I'm running. I'm doing well now. I need a brick and mortar. I've out serviced my co-op kitchen space."
Yeah.
So it's like, let's go help you get a brick and mortar. So that's pretty cool that you were part of those bigger projects to also be aligned and know where the funding is going, because I think that that helps you understand the trends and where.
Yeah. And they're in our YouTube. I think every city will have the live stream their council sessions now, and there is public data available too. So just look or just go have a meeting and be like, hey, I'm interested in this area. But I love that you're already doing things like that with your clients. And like you said, looking at the foundation and all of these different things, I feel like a good realtor really matters. Some people just don't know what to look for. when they're looking for their next thing.
Yeah, trends is pivotal. You got to know where the economic development is happening in the process of becoming a CCIM. You have to know where the job creation is. Tends to also have the population trend, and then that's a good site to do a commercial project. And there's different types of commercial projects. You're talking about retail. You could talk about residential. You could talk about industrial. They could be co-incubating spaces, and I think that's pretty cool too because markets like Syracuse, Buffalo, Cleveland, Rochester, Pittsburgh, Detroit, anything in the Northeast, Midwest, there's a ton of vacant buildings that are just readily available. And to me, the work that you're doing in that co-op space just makes the most sense. It's maximizing the space, making it cost effective for the end users, and it helps drive down the prices for the leasees, and it also helps increase the revenue for them as well. And then it's a holistic place. So you're doing well, I'm doing well. We can have cross collaboration with customers, etc. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
What specific
thank you.
what specific projects or programs that you were most proud of that came out of the work you were doing in that space?
I really love the economic development.
Yes.
Salt City Market is a really cool one. That's a ground up development that I used to live across the street at the time when I was working on that. I'm also now on the board for that. And it's basically a food stall that showcase different food entrepreneurs from cultures all around the world in the heart of downtown. And I just love seeing it because it was just very innovative as far as the shape of the building architecture and just making something out of nothing. And I think the foundation that owns it are also holistic and innovative. And I think that's a really cool project. Some others have been interesting. I would like to see more of us at the table taking advantage of those opportunities. I know a lot of, when I worked in there, I would share a lot of different funding, state funding. Red Sea is REDC, the one you named off. That's a regional economic development council through New York State. And there's funding always available there. But a lot of times we just are afraid or don't feel like those opportunities are for us, and they are. So don't tell yourself no. Let somebody else tell you no. I say that all the time. Apply, 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 even if you have nothing perfect. Apply. And even if you fail or you don't get the application or the grant awarded for your property or project, then like let some people know your name and know that you're coming. Just apply. But I feel like a lot of times in that work, we tell ourselves no before anyone get the chance to do so or even offer help so that we can then get a yes.
On that one for real. You got to go out there and get it. Those mouths don't get fed. Can you
Right? Yeah, I just told my daughter that yesterday.
Exactly. So we have been trying to connect, and it was just a coincidence of events that Invest Best happened
Yeah.
recent weeks ago. And,
Mhm.
that's a big symposium, the largest in the country for business owners alike in all different industries. And I love the fact that it's in Atlanta, a black city, and is run
Yeah.
by Black organization. Shout out to the good brothers at Earn Your Leisure. Can you speak to your time at the Invest Best and what you were able to learn and bring back with you to Syracuse to help your mission with the organization?
Yes, I wanna say InvestBest was amazing, and I'm still processing. I think I was even telling you that. It was amazing, it was so unexpected because I've gone to a lot of different conferences and things like that, but I would say in awe, highly recommend. It really just got me more into the mindset of, like, really creating generational wealth and how to do that. It wasn't just inspirational, but it was a lot of the panels were action based. which allow people to execute. They talked a lot about different levels of wealth, being your net worth, how much liquid capital you have, bad debt. That can also mean good debt sometimes. Bad debt isn't always bad. And your lifelong income, different things like that. It was really insightful. And you talked about a lot about like economic opportunity that's happened. They discussed a lot of that also. John Hope Bryant, he talked a lot about right now there is opportunity because the generation that hold the largest wealth in America have children that are no longer taking over their businesses. And so that creates opportunity for us to align ourselves with those folks to either take over those businesses or homes or pivot into those markets that will eventually close because a lot of the older companies across America are just closing. So I thought that was very interesting. I met Cedric Nash, and he has a book or a podcast called How to Get Rich for Real. And that was amazing. That was the highlight of the interview. Have you heard of him?
No, but I probably seen it before, like in different spaces. But I definitely will check it out later today for sure.
He was really good. He had an actionable strategy for people on what to do, how to invest, real estate, different ways to invest, what to do when you have like windfalls, which is like what to do with your taxes when you have lump sums, where to put them, even options for people who are working, who are hybrid, and eventually want to be an entrepreneur or want to set themselves up for wealth long term. It was really, really good. Like down to like a 4-step basics of changing your mindset and starting there to change your environment or to like start a way to build wealth.
Amazing.
And yeah,
I
that was really
definitely
good.
will be there next year, so we definitely gonna link up in person over there and try to hit these vendors. I heard the vendor section is also dope too, and I really like the fact that people can promote their businesses.
Yeah, it was really nice. I went over there and that's when I saw Cedric Nash and bought his book and had him sign it.
Fire, fire. Well, I want to leave us with, as we move forward towards the end of this interview, with something that you can think of and is more in depth for the audience as well to get a better understanding of you and where you're at and where you want to be and are moving towards. What's one bold initiative you love to launch if resources weren't an issue?
A bold initiative that I want to launch.
Yeah.
Um,
And it doesn't have to be limited to local. It could be national, international.
yeah, I'm trying to think, trying to think of what I'm working on. I would say I'm launching my own podcast, which is bold for me because I've always been behind the scenes of things. And I'm like 21 episodes, which is a little bit sick because I need to freaking post these things. But yeah, every time I'm in a different city, I find an alum or someone I know, and I'll record a podcast with them to get the behind the scenes journey of their grind that people don't see on TV or on social media, like we talked about. And so that's one thing that I'm doing right now. I am a dreamer, but I'm also like a doer. So I don't really have much because if I think about it, I'm just going to do it. So yeah, I really don't have anything. That's so crazy. But I am trying to put together my own personal wealth building strategy because I do want to be like rich for real, as Cedric said, pretty soon.
So you're doing it. You're in the field and you're networking and talking with a lot of people. And plus, you're helping out a lot of businesses, a lot of young startups too. So there's definitely good opportunities for,
Thank
angel
you.
there.
Thank you. And same to you. I love this podcast. I really love all the questions and what you do for people who are looking for real estate in your area, and then just using this as an outlet to be resourceful to others. And I think it's amazing.
Appreciate it, Queen. Thank you. So we're gonna wrap it up with our rapid five questions. I'm just gonna give you some quick questions, and then you're
Okay.
gonna go off the top of your head and give us the answers. Okay? All right. So, what's the best piece of business advice you've ever received?
Oh, wow. I'm not good at rapid questions. The best piece of business advice. So I was just listening to Fawn Weaver, founder of Uncle Nearest. Right now, just before I went to InvestFest, her company was in the headlines for tanking and being rocky. Right now, a whole bunch of issues. And she was on that stage. And when I say she was like bold and secure in not only her and her business, but also her faith, it was like so inspiring. But she talked about a prayer that she had, that really praying to God for whatever her goal was, and to make it happen. So not even herself, no one else or herself could like shake it. And so I think that's really good advice, because one, we need to have faith in something, someone, but we also have to have a goal and stay 10 toes down until we achieve it. Because, like we were saying before, it can get rocky. Entrepreneurship is a journey, and that comes with failure before we get to success. So I love that she had this prayer that was like, help me get through these moments against all of the naysayers or people who come and try to stop me, to help me get through them even when I try to stop me. And I was like, oh, that's a big one, because we can tell ourselves no all the time, or we can walk away, we can stop ourselves. But I like that she spoke that over herself.
That's powerful, and I like that too. Your go-to productivity hack when you have too much on your plate.
I need everything on my calendar, and I need it on this specific calendar. I missed you twice because I was booking you on a whole nother calendar. But you see, we here now. I put it on my right calendar. We made it. So I think that's, and then also just understanding, knowing yourself, not trying to do it all. I know sometimes in entrepreneurship, you have to, there are going to be moments where you are just grinding, but not making that long term. I do have a 9 to 5. I do have a business, but like I said, I take clients once a quarter. I used to take clients all of the time, but I can't operate like that. To bring out my best work, to be productive, like, I feel like it's in our culture to grind, to hustle. So we're gonna do it regardless, but it's not always healthy. So for the sake of productivity, I sort of like schedule jobs out accordingly. It also keeps you exclusive, and it helps with negotiating in your rates too. Like, lock me in right now, because you never know, you might be waiting forever.
What's your one marketing tool or app you think every founder should use?
I love a good email mailing list would be one, but I want to also say there's an app called Community, and it's like a text marketing app where I know everyone have purchased something online and received like those annoying texts from places, but Community is amazing because you can personalize them. You can categorize your viewers, your clients, and things like that, to where they actually feel like you're talking directly to them. And that without doing so, I had got into a car accident. I know we didn't mention this, but I couldn't walk I had to learn how to walk again for like 11 months, and my business never stopped. No one knew. And it was just all on automation. And I can always tell when a text or something dropped, because then I would get an increase in responses. but I physically was not nowhere near the creators lounge or mentally things like that. My business just kept going because it wasn't just like a spam text. You're able to personalize like a MailChimp or like a community to where your business keeps going and you build a relationship with your customers and your clients. So try it.
Definitely look into that one for sure. And if you could instantly have one new skill mastered, what would it be?
Oh, I'm trying to learn. That could be a goal for me. I'm learning design. So I sub out a lot of work when it comes to design. I can design, but I'm also, like I said, with construction, I'm very precise with my work. And so now this year, I just started learning design. So I am on Procreate and Illustrator, and give me a little minute and the price is gonna go up. But they say yesterday's price
It ain't
is
today's.
not today's.
Yeah, heard you, heard.
Mhm.
And what's the first word that comes to mind when you hear someone say a better living?
Better living. And the first word to me is home. Yeah, home.
Amen. Blessings. Well, and Daria, I appreciate you. This has been an insightful conversation. Where can I reach you to get in contact
Yeah.
via social media or etc.?
Mm-hmm. My website is indaria.co. I'm on LinkedIn, Daria Jones, and my Instagram is Indaria. So
There you have it. Thank you again for bringing your energy, your heart,
thank
and
you.
strategic brilliance to the Better Living Interest audience today. If there's one thing you folks want to take away from watching this conversation, what is it? Please comment below. Let us know your thoughts. Please
Okay.
subscribe, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. And we will look forward to seeing all you movers and shakers shaping better lives. I'm Paul Better. Stay inspired. Keep living better. Peace.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.